Anne and Anthox. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Ian, and yet again a chef's kiss right here for the amazing analysis from our desk. Guys, I love you. I'm not sure if you heard it, but they love us. It's a very wholesome siege indeed. We are indeed going to Clubhouse, and I think Demo made a good point about those nades.
Yes, and I mean, the thing that we have to talk about as well, this is HELLRAISERS map pick, which gives Deathrow the opportunity what side they want to pick, and well, usually you'd go for the fence, so that forces HELLRAISERS to start on attack.
We are indeed going to Clubhouse, and
no.
HELLRAISERS starts on defense.
That's interesting.
It could be very well that Deathrow said, you know what? We got this in the bag. We're going to start an offense.
I like that confidence.
Right? HELLRAISERS gets the ban first. And that first ban will be a Thatcher. Oh my god, act like you're surprised, Anne.
Wow, Thatcher, I wasn't expecting that one.
A Thatcher ban?
Interesting though what Deathrow will ban now. Will they ban another Heart Breacher? Like they did last time? They'll ban the Hibana once again, so getting that downstairs defense, or that downstairs attack going on rather, is going to be a little bit difficult. Are they going to counter it once again by the kite to make it somewhat possible to open up hatches and possible breaches? Yes.
Oh my god, a gate ban.
Wait, are we seriously on Clubhouse or are we on Oregon once again?
Are we watching a VOD back or are we...
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, you know?
I mean, come on. Velk? Nah. On Clubhouse?
Could be,
Velk?
for sure. Could be. Yeah.
Hello, production? Are we watching the same game? Is something... Interesting. We see a Velk ban coming out after we saw a Kate ban. So the same exact operators. No surprises there. If this is the final map, if Deathrow is able to close this out, then they've kind of kept some cards in their pocket, right? Some aces up their sleeves. Because that means that future teams who are going to play them don't really know what they're banning in this stage of Challenger League.
Oh, you're saying aces up on their sleeve, but look at this attacker lineup. That's completely different. We haven't seen a Zofia yet. We haven't seen a Maverick yet. They've opted for a Monty, but they're 6-picking for the Fuse. That
Juicy
is interesting.
I love it. I love it. We're seeing something new here from... You know what? Deathrow kind of disappointed me with the same operator bans again, because they've been surprising us with their defenses. So I was hoping for them to surprise us with their operator bans, but their operator picks here kind of make up for it. It's like when you're close your eyes when your wife or husband surprises you with a nice bouquet of flowers. That's what the Fuse pick is.
To be fair though, might be a smart pick. Also, since that with this season's update, Fuse's closer charges now go through reinforced walls.
Indeed.
Look at the kind of breach denial there's being brought on the side of HELLRAISERS. It's only the mute. And with this season's update, mutes jammers now also work differently. So there's like a globe around that mute jammer, not completely jamming the entire wall anymore. There are top left and top right corners, you can still get some stuff through. You could easily clear that mute jammer with it, which would allow your Thermite to then breach the wall.
Definitely.
On the Jacuzzi wall, for example, or a cache, or anything like that.
Definitely, and if you look at the CC wall right here, that only has one mute jammer, which is placed right next to the drone hole, actually. So that means that you could quite easily Fuse charge that wall, right? Depends on where the Fuse has spawned.
Might be that he goes for a complete different take. Might be that they immediately go for that Jacuzzi take.
Right? It's real.
I mean, it could be a good thing to just force yourself onto the side. I mean, looking at how their defense is set up from HELLRAISER, they have someone in cache, they have one person underneath cache, potentially with a C4 or anything like that to do some damage there. But you could as well just go for the side immediately. I mean, we see Adrena now using that closer charge on the wall to get rid of any of these mute jammers. Rush taking a lot of damage as well. Did he escape that closer charge in the very last second? I mean, he's still alive, has those Wamai mags that he could use later on into the round, but now that Jax is putting pressure on the main stairs, it might be more difficult for those defenders and the roamers in the hands of Deathrow to come back up on the main.
I'm really liking the attack here from Deathrow there. Yeah, clearing quite some utility and also putting quite some pressure on HELLRAISERS, and you see that by the damage that HELLRAISERS has taken. Rush and the smoke have taken some damage. Neox opening that jacuzzi wall right now. Always an important wall to open. The only thing that I'm kind of missing is the pressure on the south windows.
Oh, someone's just run in without Rush knowing. He's just missed two people walking in on top of the main stairs. Neox, though, was able to push in. A Mission, however, with the kill on Rikas. Adriano with the kill on Flares here. Back to a 4-4 man count, but it's Samaru with the pistol to pick up the kill on Neox. Now the defuse is dropped on the main stairs, they have to pick it back up again. Plenty of time, however, to play around still with Adriano is able to pick up that diffuser, but Smash is immediately following him, getting that kill onto diffuser. And now all the defenders are on low HP, but Jack's on a slither of HP as well. A minute still. Fusion, though, with the kill on a Mission, so back to a 2-2 man count. Maybe a little bit back into the hands of Deathrow, the advantage here.
Very well could be. I mean, Deathrow does have low HP, but also HELLRAISERS on quite some low HP. Looking at the lineup here on the side of Deathrow, nobody seems to be on camps, so I don't think they have any useful camps at this moment. So I would favor this a little bit more into the side of HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, Fusion has to go and recollect that diffuser, and there's someone just lurking around the top of the main stairs, which is the Aruni. Does not know, however, that there might be someone coming downstairs. They need to time this perfectly to get that swing on the Aruni going on so they can retake that diffuser. Aruni's already long gone. Jax, however, onto the Logi rotate. Fires a few of the bullets onto his LMG, but misses the gunfight kind of with the person behind the mattress. Rush now injured, so that leaves Smash in a 1v2. Diffuser back in the hands of Fusion. Could go for a potential plan, and it's Jax. No Fusion with that last kill there. Initially, a really good executor to take from Deathrow. Halfway through, it kind of seemed like it was going to get lost, but eventually they managed to pull it towards their side. Yeah,
it was a 3 versus 2, and I believe that the Jaeger had just died there, so a little bit unfortunate there for HELLRAISERS. They do decide to go for a CCTV cache hold instead of the gym bedroom that we just saw come out, and a consistent fuse pick here. I get it. Very smart. I mean, it makes Clubhouse a lot easier.
Yes, like a few advantages, right, if you bring the fuse. I mean, like we said before, easy clear of the breach, because they keep on bringing the mute. It's only the second round, but they've brought the mute so far, right? There's no Kaid in play or something like that. So, easy breach clear. Then, you might have some secondary thingies that he has as well that you can bring, and the Hitov is a really good gun. Like, we can't deny that. It's a good gun. A lot of people love to play with that gun, and Adriano had a very easy clear onto the gym wall earlier, onto the jacuzzi wall, so he might just be able to do that once again.
I'm liking the Thunderbird pick, though. It's a operator that I think on the previous map we've only seen once, and I'm liking that it's being brought yet again.
Yeah, and you saw the players of HELLRAISERS on lower HP, some were on a slither of HP, some were on half HP. It doesn't really give you the advantage in the gunfight, does it, if you are on low HP?
It doesn't, no. I mean, a Thunderbird could have fixed the situation over there, perhaps. It is now Deathrow that can attack the CCTV cache side of things. And are you going to play a bit more fuse now?
If I can pick the other gun with AK, I'd prefer to play Ace personally, but yeah.
Well, the Ace is not being brought in this instance. It is the Maverick, and once again the Fuse. Also a Termite, so plenty of Harp Breachers in play for Deathrow. Did somebody just try shooting the Fuse charge?
I mean, you can, but then Smash has to go very aggressive in order to do so. Exactly. It has to be Rush or Flares or something like that. But now they've used that on the wall, and there's also some Heart Breach gadgets coming out to get the breach going on there. However, it's Fusion with the opening kill onto Exodus. The Jaeger off the board now. Fusion very less on HP, but the flashes are coming in, indicating that they might go for a side take. However, that isn't necessarily happening. It does force a Mission out of his standard position on top red. So that's a little bit of a threat coming on his side. And
this is good right here, that they termited the wall open as well, because you can't just vault into CCTV here. You'll always have somebody playing on red. And as I say that, they're just going for an execute. They're running in. It's Fuse who gets the kill. It's a 3 versus 2 situation. Make that a 2 versus 2 because there's a player down and now also out. Smash will die here, and that means that garage control is kind of in the hands of Deathrow. Just as I say that, Rush does get a kill, and it's now a 2 versus 1 situation because Adriano will pick up the slacks. 1 versus 1 situation, and then I'm at a loss for words because Rush still has that C4.
Has a C4, is waiting for the sound cue, but there's a cluster charge coming in underneath. This might be able to cover the sound of the diffuser going off. He's stopping it, however. Gives Rush the opportunity to walk back up. The Mesa should give the sound cue that he's gotten healed by the Kona station. So Adrian is looking around to see where Rush might be. Uses one another of those smoke canister, covers the sound of him planting. So Rush doesn't use the C4, but instead goes for the run up the main stairs. And now Adrian has got the diffuser down. Uses the C4, but it's too late. The damage not being done. Adrian goes for the swing, gets the kill, and a beautiful played out situation by Adrian here, bringing the round in the hands of Deathrow.
Yeah, that is an amazing attack right there, and very well played there by Adriano. I thought after the first fuse charge, hey, why are you not planting immediately? I thought that was the moment to do it. Smart play, very smart play there by Fuse, and it's 2-0 for Deathrow.
He just toyed around with the mute, and I like that. It's the confidence, the same kind of confidence that you might see as Deathrow pick an attack.
And the thing is, these are plays that we don't see often. You don't see a Fuse played often. You don't see a situation in which it's a 1 versus 1. The defender is offside below you. I mean...
Oh no, the Fuse.
The Fuse is leaving.
I was loving to see that, and now they're switching it to the Buck, but I understand why this might be. They might think that Deathrow's going to go for a different side. However, they're not doing that. They're going upstairs once again.
Let's have a look at this replay. We see Adriano just going in for quite an aggressive push, and that does work out. And a little bit too overconfident here on the side of Jax and Deathrow, just walking there and then getting picked off. Anne, you have something to tell us.
Yeah. Oh, Smash was injured, right?
Right.
He was injured on Rafters.
Right.
There was a Kona station on Rafters.
Right.
He could have gone for the pickup, but just a few seconds earlier, an attacker walked past, got the heal from the Kona station, got killed with the SMG-11 from underneath.
Yep.
But you're going to have to wait 30 seconds before that Kona station recharges. Would the attacker not have just walked past her? The round could have been completely different. Smash might have been able to pick himself back up again. Yeah. That's where you love to see those Kona stations come and play, but this is also a big risk when you're bringing those Kona stations, because they work both ways. They don't just work for defenders, they work for attackers.
If you lose
as well.
sight, you lose Kona stations, that mean you help the offense. It is Deathrow leading 2-0. And that means that HELLRAISERS has a hell of a job to do. They started on offense, but seem to be struggling. We now see that the Fuse is no longer in play. What I am seeing... I just saw a YouTube video the other day that you don't have to do all this anymore. You can just do it between two of the pillars, and then it gets rid of everything. Have you seen that as well?
I think that was on a single wall, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. On a single wall, if you do it between the last two, I will call them crosses, then it destroys the entire wall. You have to do it on the top one and on the bottom. Explaining it doesn't make sense. Maybe I should just tweet this.
Easier with a picture and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, some visual explanation. This is a different take that we're seeing from Deathrow. They're just going for that bedroom take. They've breached the wall at Jacuzzi quite quickly, and now Neox is going for the take onto construction as well. Rush on top of the main stairs, and Mission gets down by one of those nades. Exactly what they were expecting. Nades to come throwing in into the objective. And now there isn't really a Kona station in the close proximity of a Mission to pick himself back up.
There was, but he just crawled away. But now he's next to it again, but now his teammate has already made use of the Kona station, so now he needs to be picked up manually, which is not a problem. What is a problem is that Smash has died yet again.
And there goes your Kona station.
And there goes your Kona station.
Extra still on the rafters. Walks past the Kona station, gets the heal, but looking like the players of Deathrow are already on site. Neox briefly went for the plunder, but knows there's quite a few of the angles that the defenders are still holding. Goes for it once again. Adriano goes injured and down.
He's sticking it. Pros don't fake. Neox is sticking it, and the diffuser is down. It's a 4 versus 4 situation. Deathrow with the diffuser down, and the clock is ticking against HELLRAISERS right here. Rush does get a kill on Fusion. Rykus does get a refrag on Exodus, and still it makes it a 3 versus 3. Rykus can just hold the same angle because they'll just keep walking in there. Can he get a third one? That would be quite embarrassing, wouldn't it? It is a 2 versus 2 situation. 22 seconds remaining, and HELLRAISERS, are they going to stick it just like your opponents did?
The defenders are both on low HP, no real Kona stage to be used. Rykus though gets run out on back to a 1v1. And Jax only has to hold off this diffuser. There's enough time for a Mission to go for the counter diffuse. So there now needs to be... Jax, you need to do something. You need to push. He gets that kill though on the very last 2 seconds of the diffuser. bringing just another attacking rounds in the hands of Deathrow, but it was almost too late. He went for the very late rotate. I mean, there was 9 seconds left, so this was too tense.
Yeah, it could have gone. Could have gone south. It definitely could have. But hey, could have, should have, would have. It's still 3-0 for Deathrow.
What side are they going to go now? They're going to go church. I mean, they've tried kids once, or the gym side once. Then they've tried CCTV twice. Didn't really go. I mean, obviously courtesy due to Deathrow going for a complete different take on both sides. First they went for the full-on CCTV clear and rush eventually. Then they went for that structured take from Master Bedroom side, from Gym side, going for the defuse. Well, I don't think that HELLRAISERS were really expecting a plan to come out that early into the round. So now they feel forced to go to a different bomb site. They're bringing out the Vigil. So are we going to see some roam from HELLRAISERS? Is there direct counter utility in the hands of Deathrow to deal with it? No. But they're bringing the Amaru. That's a very, very interesting one. Obviously, downstairs there isn't that many utilities or many spots that you could use the Aruni in or to get into the side quickly. But to clear roam, you might be able to use it.
And one thing's for sure, HELLRAISERS is with their back against the wall. They've lost the first map. They're 3-0 down in the second map, which is, mind you, their pick. Deathrow had the guts to say we're going to start an offense. They had the guts to do that. And look at them. Sorry, I just had to shut up to listen to that sound effect.
Oh, I love it. And you see like the grapple coming out and everything.
Amaru pick though.
Yeah.
On a defense hold. Interesting. Could work.
Yeah, like I said, they're downstairs. I mean, there aren't that many opportunities to just get to the side with the Amaru to just shake off the defense, but who knows?
What does surprise me is that the Amaru doesn't bring the hard breach gadget.
I mean, you have the Jaeger that you want to clear.
That's true.
With flashes and everything.
That's true, but you can never have enough hard breach gadgets, in my opinion.
I mean, they have 2 breachers.
I just wish you could throw those hard breach gadgets and
just yeet them on the wall, yeah.
Just toss them.
Yes.
It is here Deathrow that's making their way downtown. And I can't say more of the lyrics because then we get the MC8.
Oh, that's a mission going back to the site quite quickly. It didn't really get that much of a pressure already from the top floor. I mean, there's maybe some drone presence, but no physical presence coming out from Deathrow on the top floor just yet. But still, he chooses to go back to the site, or somewhat back to the site. He's now on the church table, just waiting for players to rush into the side, I guess. I mean, still 1.5 minutes remaining. The roam is completely gone, which could allow for Deathrow to just clear that out and push.
Something that Pengu noted, and you see it now as well, is that Dirt Tunnel doesn't get pushed that much by attackers anymore. Obviously, they open it, but attackers aren't really focusing on that as they used to. And that gives the defenders a little bit more breathing room. It is now Deathrow that's going for a very split push, almost a triangle push it seems like. We have somebody in oil pit here, we have somebody coming down secret stairs, blue stairs as they call it, and we have somebody here on the main stairs, Anne.
Oh, good communication though. Smash gets the kill onto Rike as they saw him walk past that mirror window. I was like, why is the mirror not responding to this? But that is some really good teamwork there. Nate's now gone and Fusion doesn't have any more either. Mission with the pick onto Adriano leaves 3 defenders in the hands of Deathrow still left.
Smart.
Yeah, one of the utilities trying to get rid of the mirror window there. However, Neox with the pick onto Rush, so the mirror is gone now. Mirror window still there, however. So there's still some information to be gathered by HELLRAISERS. Neox almost onto the side, gets the pick onto Jaeger. And now we're back to an even man count, 3-3. 25 seconds left to play. One of the chems gets shot down as well, but this could potentially mean that Neox is able to walk on site.
Yeah, Jax is now trying to take dirt control, but there's still a smoke with a shotgun. A mission gets the kill on Neox, and that means that is a 2 versus 3 situation. Make that a 3 versus 1. It is all up to Jax now to finish the mission, and the mission he does not finish. This goes to HELLRAISERS.
A much-needed round for HELLRAISERS to stop Deathrow from showing complete dominance on attack. 1-3 right now. The only side they won so far is Church, and they start off with like a tertiary bomb site pick, right? A bomb site that they wouldn't necessarily expect, that Deathrow wouldn't necessarily expect. They lost it, which is unfortunate because you want to pull the momentum your way by winning your tertiary bomb site before you have to go to your first and secondary bomb site. Now they want Church, but they have to go somewhere else. They're going Gym. Bring in the Bandit, a counter to the Fuse, that Adriano's keep on picking, and Adriano doesn't read that 6 pick. Was on the Maru, and now 6 pick to defuse, which he can't really use if there's a bandit in play.
They, of course, have a Maverick. So
Yes.
the Maverick could still potentially do something. But it does make it a little bit more complicated here for that fuse.
I like the adaptation coming out from HELLRAISERS to bring that bandit. Bandit, not really an operator that we do see a lot anymore. But definitely a really good counter against the fuse, which they were expecting Deathrow to 6 pick.
Because now, you know, you have 4 of those batteries. That means that the Maverick has to go from the CC side towards, of course, the Jacuzzi side. So it wastes a lot of time on the side of Deathrow. So indeed, a very good pick here.
There are some shotgun holes on the CCTV also. If you want to go for breach there, it might be more difficult. It's more difficult to get that done with the Maverick and everything as well. But the bandits are on the Jacuzzi wall. No real tricking or anything coming out. Also a bandit onto assist the mirror window here.
Yeah, you have
interesting.
Of course, the ace to deal with, but indeed very interesting here. It is the hatch here in Logi that gets fused, and Flares gets away. Doesn't take any damage from that, and it's now indeed Adriano that's figuring out, hey, wait a second, there's bandit wires on this one. What do I do?
They might have to get someone from the gym windows to shoot the bandit batteries and everything. But they're going for another take. I like the adaptation coming in the hands of Deathrow as they won a side by taking route A. They're now going for route B. And that is to go fully clear around CCTV and everything. They're trying to make sure that nobody's on rafters either, but the most of the players are actually in CCTV and cash. Exodus with the shield on top of the red stairs could potentially hold a lot of utility back. Has one of the ADSs there as well. A breach on rafters. 2
Selmas used already.
That's a lot.
So that means that if for some reason they try to open Jacuzzi with a Selma, then they can't really deal with that mirror, which they already can't because you have a bandit wire on that one. It's Adriano who gets the opening kill here on Exodus. Exodus 0 in 5, and that's not a great start.
No, especially if you look at the previous performance from Exodus, popping off on quite a few maps that you've seen him play before. Had a pretty okay performance on the previous map, but now you want this Jaeger to do better, to get more entry picks than these entry death for your team. Imagine already on half HP as well, so that gives the opportunity definitely in the hands of Deathrow, the advantage in the hands of Deathrow. They now have taken the control over CCTV's side. All the roamers are gone. Smash also taking a little bit of damage here on the main stairs. And now they feel pressures from all these different sides. Logi hatch open, main window open. Players around CCTV that could just push through construction to go onto the side, but there's a mirror window that they need to be careful for.
There is indeed, but that mirror window has just been naded. That doesn't mean it has disappeared though. You just know that nobody's there behind it. We see another fuse charge going off, this time on the side of Jacuzzi. We see that Smoke is in a little bit of a pickle over here. Last time we mentioned pickle, we also said that somebody likes to eat a pickle, so I'm curious who will deal with this one. It's Jax with the kill on the mission, 3 versus 5 situation, 25 seconds remaining. Deathrow needs to hurry up a little bit, but they do have the man advantage.
How is Rikers alive? He's just chilling, and off is Adriano with the kill onto Smash. That's the Smoke now still here.
No,
Flares with 1, but gets traded immediately. It's then Jax with the last kill. Another round for Deathrow. They're looking extremely strong on attack on Clubhouse so far.
Yes, they are indeed. It's 1-4 a lead here for Deathrow. And then if they win one more round on attack, I think it will be a lost cause for HELLRAISERS.
Look at how HELLRAISERS attacks went on Oregon.
Exactly, and how Deathrow defends. I'm curious. Part of me just wants HELLRAISERS to now win another round, so we can at least see 2 defenses of Deathrow. At least.
That'd be cool, indeed. I mean...
even 3, right? Yeah, even 3.
If you win one more round as HELLRAISERS now, you're looking at a 2v4 split.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but you can come back from it.
Definitely.
We did actually see Deathrow do that too. They were down 4-2.
Yes, they were.
After their attack, however, but they came back from it.
Hey, look at this amazing skin. G2. The visual skin. Do you support G2?
I like it, I have the skin, yeah. I like it.
Nice.
Do you have it? Or do you not really do skins?
I do skins. I have this one. Empire. because I played the Rooney DMR. It's a cool gun.
Definitely.
It's a beautiful skin as well.
I mean, the Rooney recently got a little bit of a nerf.
Exactly. Hey, it's 1-4, still in the advantage of Deathrow. That doesn't just change overnight, of course. They're having a small meeting over here. Hey guys, brainstorm session. What do we do? How do we win a round? I like the pulse pick though. It's interesting.
I like what Smash is doing as well. I mean, ideally you'd want to have someone on chems in the very first seconds of the round, because we've seen Deathrow perform completely different attacks so far.
For sure.
You want to get that initial idea of whereabouts they're spawning, whereabouts they're going for, and I like that, to see that from Smash here as he was on the cameras in the very first seconds. However, the fact that they've not brought the Bandit once again gives Adrian a free breach around the CCV, while Flair's already taken a little bit of damage here. You don't want your smoke to die that early.
It also makes a kind of like rotates, right? Like feed holes. I mean, you're no longer safe in cash. This fuse pick is just amazing. Exodus, the Jaeger, dies to an 8, 0 in 6. It's not really going that well. Smash does get a return frag. That means Rykus is off the board. 4 versus 4 situation. Is that Pulse just running here into secret while there's somebody playing on the secret window? Oh no, he does. He's just looking for intel.
He's got some information of where the attackers might be, but Rush just using one of the impact grenades. There's a little bit of damage there.
Just sprint. I mean, if you're gonna... He's playing uncarefully. It happens.
It's okay. He's alive. He can still do a lot, but Adrian is just holding for potential flanks, and that's the Fuse to come in there. Was just about to pull the camera out, but that's Adrian on the flank, which getting one kill for himself there. Flair's on a little bit less HP, does not walk past the Kona stations just yet to go fully back up on. He's already walked past one of them, but now we have 1.5 minutes remaining into this round. The players of Deathrow kind of spread out, as we see one in bedroom. A measure with a really good angle, but does let know to Adrian that he is actually holding that angle and doesn't really get the advantage from the angle. Rush still on the Raptor, so some power positions that Hellraisers is holding on to longer. But now the nades and the flashes are coming out, potentially the kill Rush. He dies as well to one of those nades, and now a lot of things are happening at the same time. 2-2 man count. The mission is still on top of the red stairs, but Neox is able to take onto the rafter stairs here. Yes,
indeed. And it's both of them that are attacking rafters right here. Neox does get, I was going to say a free heal, but he has to wait another 15 seconds. And he does have that time, so it shouldn't be a problem. I think they're going to try to get the defuse down here. They have to, but they also have to be worried because there is an emission who just downed Neox. Fusion wants to go for a hero play, and it is Hellraisers that is, by some miracle, by some luck, able to pull this round off. We are going to a 4-2 split.
Exactly. 2-4 is not ideally where you'd want to find yourself, especially if you have to go into your attacking round, but I'm seeing completely different attackers being brought than Deathrow just did. They're bringing the Buck, they're bringing the Flores, but Deathrow is spicing up the defense a little bit as well. Both the Mute and the Bandit to make the life of potentially an Ace or a Maverick a little bit harder. They're six-picking the Flores into a Twitch, by the way, and the Mirror into an Aruni, but a Vigil as well, and a Melusi. They're going for that downstairs take first. I mean, there's no way you're going to hold onto those hatches, especially if you have Buck with the 2 breaching secondary gadgets. But
that Mirror, it's been six-picked. That Twitch, what real value does that Twitch still have, besides being able to clear poorly placed Mute Jammer?
Or Bandits.
Yeah, but first the Twitch has to get past the Mute Jammers.
That's true. Depends on what you're going to use the Mute Jammers for. If you're going to use it for drone denial or counter breach, and seeing as they have the Bandit in play, I reckon they're going to use it for drone denial.
I mean, they could destroy a bulletproof cam.
Yeah, and I'd like it in combination with the Vigil as well, because if you place those Mute Jammers not just on the side, but maybe a little bit offside, you actually give the Vigil just a little bit more of those opportunities to stay hidden from drones. I mean, you have the ability that you can already keep yourself hidden from drones, but assisted with those Mute Jammers on positions where you wouldn't really expect them as an attacker, this Vigil could potentially waste a lot of time and potentially go for a flank.
Definitely. It is the Mute Jammers that are predominantly being placed on the top floor, and we do see that Deathrow is going for a big offside take. Anybody watching this VOD, if you have to play against Deathrow, if Deathrow survives today, just rush site.
That's the C4 of the board,
Rush B.
potentially.
It is Adriano that dies first, and with that, it is HELLRAISERS that does a good job at starting their offense.
And it had barbed wire, I assume, if I look at the overlay top right.
The overlay can be deceiving sometimes, but yeah,
but there's
it does
already
seem,
C4 for
it does
Neox.
seem like Bandit did run the barbed wire. It is a mission here who has opened this wall, but now needs Soft Destruct to be able to completely open it. And he does have a buck, but where's the buck? Is the buck coming? Yes, the buck is rotating to open this for our dear friend Emission. Ace off the board. Interesting that Jax gets the kill on Ace here, because that means that, you know, you lose one of your hard breachers. Could be detrimental later in the round.
I wonder why the ace was there, because that was a very split push. And look at that, the diffuser dropped,
Oh, no.
potentially on the Jacuzzi Belk as well. Now they'll have to retake that, and they are aware of one of the defenders still lurking around office. They have these lines of sight towards kitchen for a potential breach. I mean, you have hard breaching gadgets maybe still in the hands of Smash, but your main hard breacher is off the board. You could potentially go for a hatch breach with the Maverick, I was going to say, but Maverick gets taken off as well by Rikus. And now we're looking at a 4-3 defender advantage here. Exodus on fairly low HP. Was able to pick up one of the kills though, so his first kill in this game, but they still haven't taken that diffuser. Why was Flayers all by himself there without diffuser?
It is questionable. Oh no, did they just walk past Rikus? It almost seemed like they did, but it was a Gemini replicator. Rikus kind of panicked right there and does get picked off by Rush. It's a 3 versus 3 situation. A minute remaining. And it could have been, yeah, quite the problem there to deal with that Lucy still on the top floor. But now it seems like all the defenders have made their way back down to their site. Rightly so, because there's only 45 seconds remaining, and Deathrow can just kind of sit back and relax.
Yeah, time is definitely in their favor. I mean, definitely with the fact that you still have those visual scanners. They have an indication that the vigil might be behind the blue generator. However, he's repositioned, which is a very smart thing to do, because you leave the attackers guessing of where your position is. And Exodus is fairly aware of that. Exodus as well as Rush are pushing onto the blue generator here. Smoke canister coming out, block on of the rotate, blocking lines of sight for the defenders, which allows the attackers to walk further on. Rush with a team kill, unfortunately, as well. Smash gets injured, and it's Jax and Nukes trying to finish that last kill onto Rush. Smash still injured, but time is running out. Bulletproof camera spotting where the attacker must be. And then it's Jax to pick up that final kill there on Buck with the position was, I mean, constantly red-pinged. So 1 round in the hands of Deathrow. And look at that. It's a 2-5. Will there be a potential timeout getting called by HELLRAISERS now, or is that too early?
Was a little bit of a bad situation there in the blue. I mean, you know, I get it. You need to figure something out. You don't have that much time anymore, so let's just force blue. But I mean, they had the upper hand, right? I mean, the Vigil had a bad timing. Threw an impact nade just as he was getting peaked, so they killed the Vigil. But then the team kill kind of, yeah, ruined that attack, didn't it?
Yeah, they had the rotates covered off, so the lines of sight that were being held by defenders weren't as easy accessible as you'd imagine them with open rotate, so they were able to force themselves through blue. But would they have not had a team kill, they still had the bulletproof camera all the way in armory around the AK case, which was giving constant information to the last defender that was remaining in church. With very little time, you know where they were planting, you know where anything could have gone down, so I don't think it would have changed the situation that much, because there was still an information game last round, which they have to get in some kind of way, because the Valkyrie is banned. You can't just allow or rely on Valkyrie camps, for example, so you have to bring out these bulletproofs.
It is Deathrow who is 3 rounds up, and they get to defend once again. They're bringing a Goyo this time, an operator that we've seen them bring more often, an operator that can be quite strong. And tell us a little bit more about the Goyo.
It's as well like area denial, as push denial, as potentially plan denial, because you have a shield, and if you're joining that shield, I mean, ideally you want to get behind the shield to just make sure that it is one of those Vulcan shields which can erupt into fire. If you don't know that and you shoot the shield, you get rid of the shield with some utility and you might be too close to the shield, you're gonna get your toes burned. That's not ideal. So seeing as how much time it took HELLRAISERS to go for a side take, I mean, Exodus just died once again, being entry death, unfortunate, a lot of nades wasted, a lot of intel wasted. seeing as how much time it's taken Hellraiser to go onto the site, that Goyo might be really good for them later on into the round.
Definitely, and I'm just surprised that HELLRAISERS is not pulling the attitude, can't beat them, join them. Bring that fuse. You saw how hard it was to deal with. I'm sure that Deathrow doesn't know how to deal with it properly. So just bring that fuse. They're bringing a Flores instead, trying to clear some utility here. It does help with clearing those Vulcan shields, though.
Smashes on Raptors. How is the on Raptors just walking past her when there's no utility or players invested into Raptors? Is able to hold these very long lines aside. Now the flash come raining onto the side, which might lead the players to just walk in there, but the breach is open partially. This wall in between side is reinforced and also mute-jammed, so you can't breach it open.
Nobody's there. They're wasting all their utility because all the players on the side of Deathrow have already rotated back. It purely has to do with those mute jammers. Like, they're still wasting time, Anne. And after they've opened this, they'll be walking into construction where there's a mirror window waiting for them. What are you doing, HELLRAISERS?
I mean, you could just go for a take on Jacuzzi, right? And get a split push.
Oh, they're finally droning. Thank the Lord.
They
It's a bit
should
too late, isn't it?
be able to walk in here now. They don't have a torch or anything else to deal with that mirror window real quickly. You might have flashbangs and everything, but that's it really.
Pick up your Selma. It's still muted. Do it. It is now a rush trying to get rid of this Vulcan shield. Does so successfully. It is 35 seconds remaining, and we see that, yeah, they're rotating now. A little bit too late, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if HELLRAISERS I was going to say somehow still knows how to win this round. It is Neox with the kill on a mission, but Smash with a refrag. Uh-oh, you're still behind that Mira. Smash knows exactly how to clear that Mira. It is now... How are they winning this? How is HELLRAISERS winning this? I am completely surprised. It is a 2 versus 3 situation in the advantage of HELLRAISERS. A 3 versus 1. Adriano can clutch this. No, he can't. And... I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it looked like it was going to take really long by HELLRAISERS to just make their way towards site. They had that initial roam clear, had the clear around CCTV. It took them fairly long to realize that it was clear and they could potentially go on. But what I liked was the adaptation coming out from the Buck to go in kitchen. Guys, there's a mirror window. They're watching us from construction. They're watching us from logistics. That's where you have a great potential with the Buck to just breach it from underneath, get the kill on the mirror, gives you free push into construction. There was someone on the side of Deathrow just peeking that mirror window once again. They got killed, which also gave HELLRAISERS the perfect push of like the allowance into logistics. And from there on, it was just a lost round for Deathrow, really.
And the last known location of the Buck was near Cache. It was near CCTV. We saw him, of course, on Catwalk, made his way into Cache. So it must have been a very quick rotate. A good rotate, I mind you. Double kill he got of it. So, yeah. All kudos to Smash, because without Smash, they wouldn't have smashed that round. A lot of smashes.
I like the play of the words there.
It is still Deathrow. Tell me.
That's a ADS in lobby.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's to stop nades?
I think they're going to play lobby because they opened up the wall, right? They have a shield now here as well that I didn't see yet. Now we see a shield here. But they opened up this bottom garage wall. So they're probably going to play in lobby. It's a hard point to hold, but if you are able to hold it, it can be very, very strong. We see a Mira facing facing the jacuzzi wall, but nobody's be found next to that Mira. That's hilarious.
Oh my. This
is cheeky.
You just placed a mirror in there, but you're not going to be able to use it because there was a Maverick just maving that bottom part of the mirror window. So if you want to be selling there, sure, but you're going to get your toe shot. So that's not ideal either. Imagine just proceeding to fully Maverick trick that wall. Now they've also just meleeed the mirror window. So
very logical to do.
Kind of wasted utility, we could say.
Yes.
However, if you are able to hold up onto the position downstairs, there are 2 C4s in play in the hands of Deathrow. So you could do a lot of damage downstairs. Also, knowing that you'll have the ADS, so not as many nades from underneath as you would ideally have. But this is just a very interesting round, how it started. I
would have rather seen that Mira being played on top of garage, facing CC. Right here, yes. Prone though, because otherwise you can be shot from the, it could be shot from outside. So, or crouched, I must say. You can't place a Mira while being prone. It's hard sometimes, English. Crouch,
Understandable.
Right? Right. It is here, yeah, the bottom garage walls being opened. That's a lot of utility being cleared right here.
That was so quickly as well. I love to see that, just a little taps, you know, as if they were doing some like aim practice.
Lab, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
aim practice on the little wall, on the little magnets device there. That should give more freedom for those nades to be tossed into the side and the flashbangs to come in to the player on Raptors. The nade as well, but he survives for some reason. Jack's still alive here on the Raptors, runs away, but there's someone on Garage holding the potential rotate. Neox falls to a nade as well, and all of a sudden the momentum is in the hands of HELLRAISERS. 5-3 you would say, however, Jaeger is able to pick up 1 on 2 rush, bringing it back a 4-3, 3-3 I would say, and this is falling out the hands of HELLRAISERS.
It's the FMG that does it. It did go well for HELLRAISERS until this moment. I thought that was a perfect execute right there, clearing, you know, clearing this garage, getting garage control. Now only with 40 seconds remaining, and they do need to find a way to get into sight. They no longer have the buck because the buck has been killed, so it would mean a vault here because there's no Selma anymore in play.
He just gets the vault onto the side quite freely. I don't know if you should be allowing that. There is still a C4 in the hands of Rikus, but is he aware of the diffuser going down? Goes for the C4 throw, but in a completely wrong spot. So Flares is able to bring that diffuser down. Another defender being shot as well. It's a trade fest here with Rikus in a 1v2. Goes for the swing onto Flares, but it's Flares to get that last kill. And one more round on the board for HELLRAISERS. That was looking like a very interesting start of the round. They jumped into the side. I'm not so sure if you would have allowed that to happen, or if you should have allowed that to happen, being Deathrow. The C4 being mistossed as well. Just a lot of things not really going in the way of Deathrow, and now they're calling that tactical timeout.
Timeout, timeout, timeout. Let's discuss what's going wrong here for Deathrow, and good start once again, but kind of giving it away.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna look at like what defenders were left and what utility was left, because there was a smoke with one of his smoke counters still with 40 seconds, and then you didn't have any nades on the attacking side. As you said, they had to just jump into the site.
Yep.
No one was holding
Nobody
that
was
angle.
holding that window. No, it shouldn't have happened. I think he threw his smoke and threw it a little bit short. That smoke also covered the sound cue of the diffuser going down. So good play there from the ace. Ace saw that smoke being thrown. Okay, that smoke is a bit short, so I can still plant. Then we see a random C4 being thrown, not really doing anything at all. Yeah, sloppy round there from Deathrow, and a good timeout. I was like, what are we looking at Fusion? But it's his hair. I thought he had like ski masks on, you know? You know those ski glasses?
Yeah.
I thought that's what he had. That we were seeing ski glasses, but it was just his hair.
Yes, indeed. It's Deathrow over with another defensive round. They just won. They just lost upstairs, unfortunately. They're going to go down to Church and Arsenal, bring in that mirror again. If I'm looking at the attack in lineup, I don't think I'm seeing a lot of changes. They keep on bringing the same kind of operators, just as we saw happening on Oregon. However, this time there's not really a big of an issue. Yes, they are down 1 round. They might as well bring it back to 5-5 now. But they're not struggling with a roam clear as much as they were doing on Oregon. So it's okay to stick with these operators. I like the Florist to potentially do a lot of damage to shields and everything as well. However, looking at the lineup of Deathrow, what shields are you going to try and deal with? Because there aren't any on this time in this round. But no Vigil either, which I think they opted, but 6-picked. So the roam game of Deathrow is definitely going to be different as opposed to it was on their first defensive round in Church.
Yeah, I feel like they might feel like HELLRAISERS know how to deal with that a little bit better on Clubhouse opposed to Oregon. So now it seems like they're going for a little bit more of a turtle strategy here, bringing the Mira as well. Just playing site a little bit more.
Yeah, Fusion being the only one off site, I think.
See here, 2 Mew Jammers to help and survive this Mira window as long as possible. Fusion playing here on that secret stairs, as we would call it. It is indeed the Flores that's being used for different reasons. Kind of like as a second soft destructor.
Yeah, I think what'll be essential as well is for Exodus to step up. If Exodus has a really good game, you see that the team around him is working as well. I mean, Mission is having a good game. It's going 10-6, but Exodus found himself being the entry death quite a few times so far, which obviously doesn't allow you to use your nades and your ability to the full potential with that information gathering. So it's essential for him to start stepping up and start trying to clear the gap within the KD difference here and rush on top of the red stairs. They're going for that extended roam clear, but, well, what roamers are there to find? Not really any. So I think it's only Fusion still off-site. Has gone back downstairs, actually, so no defenders. But what have they done to the stock hatch? They've just opened it partially, and then they just left it.
Yeah. It could be a strategy, right? Could be like, okay, let's just...
A tease.
Exactly. Or for a late rotate, then you just have to quickly open something up and go for it. Mission finally gets this hatch open, though.
He was breakdancing. Did you see that?
He was.
That looked funny.
Do you ever breakdance with a torch in your hand?
I wouldn't recommend it. You'll be literally playing with fire. I wouldn't recommend it if I were you.
I won't try it then. Purely because you told me not to. It is now Smash that is trying to create quite some vertical angles here in the kitchen. Looking into Armory, of course. You want to make sure that the entire B is completely clear before you start dropping the hatch. However, that hatch is still hard, it's still reinforced, and there's also an Aruni gate on it, so you can't just drop there. That mirror window has been cleared though, and...
Ooh, which should give the potential for a C4 toss, but it's also Jax to get injured in that process. Which means that Rikers has to come in to pick him up, but I don't think the attackers are aware of this. Isn't just chilling on the bottom of the main stairs, doesn't have a grenade to clear the mirror behind her, but goes for the aggressive peek here. It's Exodus to fall once again, but Jax is able to pick up the kill on a mission here. So now we find ourselves in a 3-5 man disadvantage for HELLRAISERS, and they still have this mirror just chilling behind the mirror window. However, one of the Selmas should potentially clear the mirror there. Rush with the kill onto Rikers, but it's Adriano with another one onto Rush. It's all falling apart as Flayers finds himself in a 1v3, but it's the last kill coming in from Adriano here.
Good timeout.
Yes, I mean, they won the round after their timeout. That's what you want to have happening here as well. Going into round 11 now, and this is match point. It's not just map point, but also map point, seeing as Deathrow has already won their first map. HELLRAISERS need to start winning those rounds. Exodus needs to step up, otherwise it might be too late.
Huge here for Deathrow. These 2 rounds will be huge for Deathrow. You win here, you win today, you get 2 opportunities. 2 opportunities to go to relegations. You go to the upper bracket final, you win, you're in relegations. You lose in the upper bracket final, you go to the lower bracket final. You win, you're into relegations. These will be 2 very, very big rounds for Deathrow.
If they win one more, they're done. I mean, I did like to see that Frost initially. I personally love Frost, but also on a site like this, it's a tertiary bomb site, as most people would like to see it, and then having those Frost mets with the window jump-ins could make it a lot more difficult for HELLRAISERS to keep care of their ankles and everything. However, once again, they have these mirror windows, but what I want them to do is be cautious for that buck. To have this late round rotate and to clear the mirror window, for example, because I don't think we've seen these mirror windows being used to the full potential. Last round, maybe, by Jax, as he was able to be picked up behind that mirror window, but so far, they haven't really been helping Deathrow that much. This time, there is 1 mirror window in the pocket still, which will be used on that construction wall. It'll be essential for Deathrow to hold on to CCTV for as long as possible, because it looks like all the attackers are spawning on that side, and they'll be looking to take control over CCTV as quickly as possible.
HELLRAISERS was able to survive the group of death. Are HELLRAISERS able to survive not the group of death, but the team of death called Deathrow? That's the question. It is 2 more rounds here for HELLRAISERS to take it to overtime. It is only 1 round win for Deathrow to end today's first match and proceed to the upper bracket final.
Ooh, Exodus getting some really good information of the positioning on the defenders here, but Mission is able to get this wall open. There is a bulletproof right next to the breach, which could give a lot of information on where these attackers are, but Fusion also still with a C4 could do a lot of damage if the attackers just walk in. Mutejammers also making it more difficult to just clear that breach quite easily. And now they have these RC Terror charges in an attempt to get rid of the Mutejammers, but it isn't working successfully. Mutejammers still on a lot of different places, and now they're just using it to get some information or to open up this rotate, force the defender away from top red. But Adriano is still able to sit here, even though there's a lot of fire around in front of him.
He is not scared of fire because he's facing hell themselves. It is a mission trying to throw a nade over here. Deciding not to because, hey, is there actually somebody in cash? That's the question. It is Adriano being very patient here, but he's being pushed by Rush. Rush is not looking. Adriano, peek him! Peek him! He doesn't know you're there. You're making sound. Now he does know you're there, and oh no, he gets the first kill. Exodus is down. No, he doesn't get the second kill. It's Rush with the return kill on Adriano. It's a 4 versus 4 situation. Fusion picking up his shield, knowing that the push is coming from the construction side of things, from the cash side of things. So now has to, yeah, kind of sit still and wait for this moment.
I'm loving to see the position of Rikers because he knows the Buck might be rotating to get rid of the mirror from underneath. He's being thrown now though, so he needs to be cautious. Missioner with a kill onto Rikers, so that's the main threat from underneath cleared. Now they could go for clearing that mirror window. Thrust C4 up, but that gets wasted as the person hasn't even repelled up. Has a line of sight for herself as well to look down, but that isn't where the Buck is coming from. Should get this mirror window quite easily, and Jax is already forced far away from that mirror window. Time is running out.
It is 13 seconds remaining here, and it's HELLRAISERS that has a hell of a job to do. Jackson, Neox need to stay alive. No, the diffuser has been dropped. Is it Deathrow that's going to the upper bracket final? No, HELLRAISERS! They fight to live another day. They win the round.
That probably shouldn't have happened. It looked like it was the advantage, definitely on the defensive side. The time was running out. Mirror was just pushing into Jim, only to find the player jumping in. You would have the advantage in the gunfight there, but unfortunately the Mirror didn't have the advantage and died, and gave the attackers the final few seconds to kill those remaining defenders, and now we are looking towards a potential overtime. However, Deathrow has a little bit more freedom now when it comes to site pick and site selection.
That kill from Rush was quite important on the Rooney. It could have been a whole different ball game if he didn't get that kill, by the way. So, wow, Anne. Are we going to another maximum overtime?
I would hope so. This game is so tense. I want to see more of this.
It is an amazing... I mean, this is what you tune in for every Monday and Friday, and in the future on Thursday, and who knows which day you're watching this on. This is what you tune in for. These are the diamonds in the dirt, as I call them. What a match. What a matchup we already have. It is Deathrow, still 1 round away from taking this all home and going to the upper bracket final, but HELLRAISERS does not give up without a punch.
Once again, they have these Aruni punches on the CC wall, and I think some shotgun holes as well, which will definitely make it more difficult for the Maverick to clear that breach as easily. And I'm very curious to see where HELLRAISERS is going to push from mainly, because they've shown that they want to come from a few different sides before as well. Whenever it's looking like the Maverick is going to have his focus on that main wall here. Exodus sent to a very different part here as he's jumped into the gym window, trying to contest any control on top main. Finds the Aruni, but doesn't really win the gunfight yet. Aruni's just spraying through the wall, but misses barely. Exodus tries to do the same, but Aruni is going back just a little bit towards side. Gets thrown out, has to give up the position, but both come away unscattered and still live to fight another day.
Yeah, it could have been completely different there. We see that Deathrow is kind of still setting up a few things here and there. We heard a reinforcement. We also saw some shotgun shells trying to open a rotate. It is now HELLRAISERS, who still have a player on their side who's stuck on 2 kills, while the rest is indeed pulling their weight. Exodus, we've seen you perform better than this. I think if he wakes up, it will be a different ball game. That's for sure.
It might for sure be, but I'm not necessarily that concerned for HELLRAISERS, but what have they really gone map control-wise when it's 1.5 minutes into the round? They have the information on the Wamai sitting there, but look at the amount of utility that the Wamai has.
Yeah, I think they're more worried, of course, with these vertical players. We see Neox down below, we see the Aruni down below, but they're stalling. They're stalling tremendously. They're going to try to clear the barbed wire here, which could potentially be good. But a minute and 10 seconds remaining, and do they know that they only have a minute left to take this to overtime? That's the question.
I also wonder if they know about the players downstairs, because there are players sitting downstairs. They're going to be tossed in now to potentially do some damage. Just a sound cue there. Smash with the first kill onto Adriano. That's the smoke off the board, and that should be huge for HELLRAISERS to push this onto overtime. They have the man advantage now, but Fusion has to drop the red stairs to regain that downstairs control and tries to see if someone is around Garage, but runs past an open breach. How are you surviving that? The breach is not open, I would say, though, but is able to retake control over Raptors. A lot of pressure coming onto Jax. C4s and nades tosses in, but Exodus gets the kill onto Jax. Now the players are on side. The diffuser's going down, but Rikers with one in return. It's a frag fest left, right, and center, and Flares is able to bring this diffuser down, you were gonna say, but Rikers gets the kill. Trades off immediately, but Fusion left in a 1v2 to potentially get this map in the direction of Deathrow. This in one best of 3 in the detention. The diffuser's been picked up, gets it down into the diffuser. This could be it potentially.
No! It is!
It is!
It is! The end! Deathrow wins!
Oh
Wow.
my god, that was too tense for those final few seconds.
What a clutch by the Jaeger here. Oh my goodness. Fusion with the huge clutch.
I think we have to clap for Rikers as well. If he would have not gotten that kill on the diffuser,
You see him breathing.
very last
Look at
few
him.
seconds.
Look at him. Are you okay, Rikers? Do we need to call an ambulance? Oh my goodness, we almost have to call an ambulance for us. My chest is pounding. What a match we've just witnessed. It's November 1st, and we know who our first upper bracket finalist is. It is Deathrow.
Yes. If you look at Rikers in that last round, he was able to get the kill on the person with the diffuser in the very last second. It could have gone the completely different way. But once again, we find out that time is on the defender's hands here. As initially, it wasn't really that much of a map control coming out from HELLRAISERS anyways, but very strong performance from Deathrow. I think definitely showing different than what a lot of people were thinking, as maybe most people were expecting HELLRAISERS to take this not necessarily 2-0, but maybe 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, we expected a close match, and both maps have been tremendously close. But in the end of the day, it's Deathrow who takes it home. They are now your first upper bracket finalists. Now the question is, who will they be facing? Will they care who they'll be facing? That's also a question. HELLRAISERS made it out of the group of death, out of the group of hell, but stranded against Deathrow. Nothing to worry about just yet. HELLRAISERS does go into, as our lovely colleague Ian would say, the alligator swamp. But there's still some time, still a chance for them.
Exactly. It's not all lost. Unfortunately, a loss that they take here doesn't need to bring them down to the lower bracket. Not necessarily having the easiest route there, as you see all the other teams that have already dropped down to the lower bracket. So I think they might be sweating a little bit.
I would be definitely sweating. Who's also sweating are our analysts, because they have to make sense of all this. But before we do that, we'll go to a quick break.